The Dutch are on a hat-trick against the Proteas. Who would have thought that line is conceivable till less than 2 years ago? But after the events of the last two ICC men's major trophies, Netherlands are seeking a three-peat over South Africa. These two teams meet in New York. It's time to build up to that game on Maruti Suzuki Arena. Presents ESPNcricinfo Timeout, where we have the pleasure of Morne Morkel's company. Morne, I will apologize for bringing up those old wounds, but that is the biggest narrative going into this game. How much do the events of Adelaide in 2022 and Dharamsala in 2023 have a bearing on the minds of both these teams as they meet here?
Please don't apologize. I think they were deserved winners on the day. They played, exceptional cricket. But yeah, I mean, coming back to your question, for me, it's a new tournament. South Africa going into this match won't sort of reflect too much on the past. For them, it's important to control. It's a bit of a cliche, but control on what they can control. Be aware of what's to come, what the Dutch is going to bring to the party, but just play to their strengths. They're there to make a statement this year in this World Cup. They want to go through this group stage playing some good cricket. So from a South African point of view, it's keep on sort of building on the momentum they sort of got in that first game against Sri Lanka. They got the first taste of the conditions. They know what to expect now, and then just bring a real intensity, aggressive game, to the Dutch in the second game.
Now, we've seen how admirably the Dutch have performed in recent events. We've also already seen in this tournament a massive upset. So, in a sense, the heavyweights know that there is no room for complacency. What to you are the major pitfalls that South Africa have to guard against when they meet Netherlands?
I think South Africa need, for them, is to be aware that the Dutch will come with a certain intensity. When associated teams play against your bigger nations or your bigger teams, they bring a form of intensity that they've got nothing to lose. For South Africa can't really afford on the surface to start too slow. For the Dutch, they love that opportunity to play against a bigger team. For individuals to make a name for themselves, put a score on the board, bowl well. That's the best stage for you to go out and announce yourself to the cricketing world. So so the pitfalls for me is complacency. Again, we've mentioned that word. South Africa can't expect that KG is going to run up on a tough surface and take wickets. That the Dutch won't be able to cope with the pace of Nortje. That Quinny is going to come in and he's going to score a gritty 30, get South Africa to a score, and they will be able to defend that. No, that's not going to be the case. I think they'll have to walk out there from ball one, be on the money, sum up the conditions, adapt to game plans, and always like in the past, South Africa would bring that aggressive nature to the game. But I think the Dutch, they've got players in their lineup that can play pace well. So it's not going to be all about, okay, let's just use the short ball, let's get carried away with that. Yes, we use that aggression, but be smart with your aggression. Body language is going to be key with bat and ball running between the wickets. We saw the other day, even if you hit the ball through the inner field, that ones and twos and those things are tricky. So can South Africa adapt to the conditions? Can they bring a smart intensity with their game plans, that whole package together?
Right, you brought up conditions, and that is such an important factor. That is the second biggest theme when we look at this Netherlands-South Africa contest, because it's in New York, already the subject of so much debate and so many headlines. It's an unexpected twist, but one I'm sure you're glad to see, that the bowlers are in the ascendancy. How important does it become to have the bowling plans correct to just capitalize on the advantageous conditions?
I personally feel that this is a venue where you don't have to overthink it in terms of game plans. We saw on both games played on the surface that if you bring the stumps in play, if you hit the deck, there's enough variation for you as a bowler that can get batters into trouble. So for me, it's yes. Again, there's talks about they're going to try and improve the wicket, make it slightly better for the batters, but I can't see that happening in the next couple of days. So again, it will be the same old story of using your aggression, mix it up with cross seam up, use the bigger square boundaries, and just keep it simple. I think you can sometimes be caught off guard if you want to try too many change ups, too many slower balls. We saw with Norkia or Neil Bartman. We saw with the Indian fast bowlers, they just hit the deck. They kept asking questions on a good test match length, test match bowling, and he got the results.
Yeah, given that quality of personnel that South Africa have in the pace attack, Rabada, Norkia, Bartman, facing that quality of attack in these conditions, perhaps the sternest examination the Dutch batters would have faced in a long time.
Yeah, look, it's gonna be a good test for them, but I think they like I said earlier, that's going to be a challenge that they would enjoy. Their management staff, I know very well. They're a team that will plan well against the South African bowling attack. And again, we saw, it's potentially going to be a game where you don't need to get 180, 200. If you can get to 130, 150, that can be a competitive score. So for them is to identify a blueprint or form a game plan. Okay, how can we get 160 against this attack? We don't have to go too aggressive in a power play when the ball is new and nipping around. We can maybe target guys outside the power play. And I think that's a sort of strategy they'll bring to the party. They'll plan well. They'll try and execute well. But for me, for them, it's going to be a real test of high quality bowling. It's going to come at them because, what happened in the past, South Africa, they were hurt by that. And I think they'll come out with a sort of hunger to go out and put what happened in the past right in this next game.
Now, both these sides also had their spinners contribute in their opening wins. Keshav Maharaj took 2 against Sri Lanka, and Tim Pringle, who opened the bowling for the Dutch, was player of the match with 3 wickets against Nepal. Do you expect spinners to play their part at New York?
There was definitely something in for the left-arm spinners, in both games. Keshav got a bit of, 1 or 2 balls to turn, to bounce. Tim Pringle, he's a taller guy. He's definitely gonna get a little bit of bounce out of the surface. In South Africa, they've got majority of their guys are right-handers. For me, that is the talking point about how South Africa is maybe going to take on the left-arm spinner. Is he going to be the guy that they're going to look to take down? Because they've got a very dangerous bowling attack with Van Meekeren, Logan van Beek, a Buster Leader. So maybe he's the guy that they'll target to take on. Maybe give themselves 2 or 3 balls to see if there's any turn, any bounce. But I reckon, if I'm sitting tonight in the South African camp, he will be the guy that South Africa would look to take down.
Yeah, when you look at that Dutch attack, and it is so well-rounded, all of them contributed in that win against Nepal. Who do you become the key South African batters, especially now, with all the recalibration that we're talking about, the reassessment of what might be a competitive total? If you're in a position where you are batting first against this Dutch bowling lineup, who are the batters who assume greatest significance for you?
For me, you want your captain to lead from the front. I think Adam Markram, he sort of started in the IPL, then lost his spot. He's searching for a bit of game time, good quality time in the middle. So he's a guy that can make this opportunity count to kickstart his World Cup and get himself into good form. Yes, he's hitting the ball well in the nets. He's a quality player, but get him confident with the Claessens, with the Stubbs, with the Miller. I was very pleased to see the way Quinny the Cock summed up the conditions and played the other day against Sri Lanka. So he's another guy that that I hope would again lead from the front, because your top 2 or 3 are the guys that can face the most balls in a World Cup or in a T20 game. And if you can get your guys in that top order, firing, confident, especially going into the next phase of the World Cup, that's going to be crucial. If they can set up the platform, the Markrams, Risa Hendricks and Quinton, for a Stubbs, for a Miller and a Claessens to come in, that will be the ideal world for them.
All right, that's the setup done. Thank you so much, Morne Morkel, for building up to Netherlands versus South Africa. Both sides have 1 win apiece. Could be such an important result. The winner here gets the lead in a group which can be very tough to call.
Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go Swifting.